Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever set foot on a shop floor or worked in an operational setting, you already know the ultimate tug of war, right? It's that constant, everyday battle between sticking to your proactive maintenance schedule and just reacting to sudden emergencies. It's a universal struggle. So, how in the world do we manage the chaos without everything completely falling apart? Well, today we're going to dive into a brilliant case study that shows exactly how an empowered supervisor handles this like an absolute pro.
All right, picture this scenario. It is 8 a.m., the maintenance supervisor just sat down at their desk, and the phone rings. On the other end of the line, a super stressed plant operator, and they're demanding, send some mechanics right now. Boom. Just like that, we are instantly plunged into a tense situation. For this explainer, you're a fly on the wall for this exact phone call. And believe me, how the supervisor responds in these next 2 minutes, it literally dictates the productivity of their entire crew for the rest of the day.
Section 1. The 8 a.m. emergency, setting boundaries on the shop floor. Now, right off the bat, we have to remember something crucial. The operator and the maintenance supervisor are teammates. They absolutely have to work together to keep the plant running. But, and this is a big but, teamwork does not mean just yielding to every single demand the second it pops up. Neither the operator nor the supervisor should just roll over when new reactive work arises. To navigate this, our supervisor uses this brilliant strategy. We'll call it the decreasing time pushback. So when the operator demands immediate action, the supervisor politely says, I certainly will, but hey, can it wait until next week? He explains that they've made a commitment to operations for this week to hit a specific productivity goal. If it waits until next week, the planner can properly schedule it. Of course, the operator says it absolutely cannot wait that long. So the supervisor shrinks the timeline. He counters, well, okay, can it wait until tomorrow? The supervisor's logic here is absolutely vital. He wants to ensure that every single person does a full day's work. He explains to the operator that everyone on the crew already has enough assigned work for today. You see, avoiding crew reassignment right in the middle of the day is the ultimate key to keeping productivity high, and he really doesn't want to start shifting folks around. But, as you might guess, the operator says, nope, the job cannot wait until tomorrow either. So the supervisor stays perfectly calm and pivots once again. All right, can at least wait until this afternoon. Now, this brilliantly highlights why buying even just a few hours is a total game changer. If they wait until the afternoon, it actually gives the planner time to prepare. They can check the equipment files, see what was done last time so things run smoother. They can check out the job site to see if a special skill is needed, like maybe they need a certified welder for this one. They can even estimate how long the job will take so they can coordinate it with everything else. But, you guessed it, the operator still insists it cannot wait. Finally, we hit the sweet spot. The supervisor asks, okay, how about if I started at 10 o'clock? He explains that a couple of mechanics are naturally going to finish their current in-progress jobs around 10 a.m. anyway. If he interrupts a job right this exact second, that means the mechanics are spending extra time packing up parts and tools so they don't lose them, and then later they have to try and remember what went where. It's just a massive waste of time where zero actual work gets done. And guess what? The operator agrees. 10 a.m. it is. Section 2. The work order rule. Paperwork in a crisis. So, the time is officially settled, but our supervisor insists on just one more thing, a work order number. Now, the operator is incredibly surprised by this. Like, why demand paperwork in the middle of a crisis? Well, the truth is, even for a literal come-in-the-middle-of-the-night type of emergency, getting a work order is absolutely mandatory. And the strict justification for this rule? It's all about the data. This paperwork is what allows mechanics to record valuable feedback. It helps them inventory the parts they used. It ensures they don't reinvent the wheel the next time they work on this specific piece of equipment. And honestly, the biggest reason? You literally cannot do any kind of meaningful equipment analysis if you aren't collecting information on work orders throughout the entire year.
So how on earth do they execute this without losing precious time? Well, the supervisor points out that the operator is sitting right there in the control room. He tells them to pull up the work order module. That's the digital system they use to log these requests. He simply tells the operator, just hit insert, generate a work order number right now, and read it to me over the phone. The operator can fill out all the rest of the details while the supervisor physically runs out to scramble the mechanics. It is highly, highly efficient.
Section 3. Protecting the schedule. The big picture philosophy. Before they hang up, the supervisor shares a bit of his overarching philosophy with the operator. He wants to make it totally clear that he isn't just giving the operator a hard time for the fun of it. Honestly, he is entirely willing to drop everything and reassign his whole crew at a moment's notice for a real, true emergency.
The crucial point here is the massive difference between a proactive routine versus the reactive trap. When you stick to a proactive routine, meaning you are seriously driving every single week to complete a scheduled week's worth of work, productivity stays incredibly high. But if you fall into that reactive trap, where you're just sitting around waiting for operators to call with urgent work, well, you tend to just fix that one specific thing, sit back on your heels, and feel like you've done your job. Productivity completely plummets, and suddenly everybody has to declare their job an absolute 5-alarm fire just to get any maintenance attention.
To really drive this home, the supervisor emphasizes a super powerful metric to the operator: 2 to 3 weeks. If the maintenance team can maintain that proactive routine and actually drive toward completing scheduled work, they can almost always get everyone's work done within 2 to 3 weeks. It completely prevents that chaotic, highly reactive culture where literally everything gets treated like an emergency.
Section 4. The triple win, resolving the conflict.
Let's wrap up this case study by looking at the outcome of this skillful de-escalation and boundary setting. Because really, this wasn't a fight. It was a masterclass in negotiation that builds a win for absolutely everyone involved. Step 1. The operator wins a victory by getting the proper response to the true priority of the work. Step 2. The supervisor wins a victory because he actually keeps his crew working as productively as possible without all those unnecessary interruptions. And Step 3. The plant itself wins a victory. It furthers a culture of setting proper priorities and actually protecting schedules. This masterful negotiation is a true triple win across the board. So the ultimate takeaway from our explainer today is actually quite simple. Honor the schedule. Maintenance should always avoid interrupting scheduled jobs or jobs in progress whenever it's safely possible. On top of that, the maintenance team absolutely must place a massive importance on following the plant priority system without any exceptions. Consistently sticking to that process is exactly what keeps the whole operation running smoothly, day in and day out.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to reflect on regarding your own workplace culture. Ask yourself, are you actually protecting your schedule, or are you just waiting for the phone to ring? Take a second to think about your own reactive habits and consider how you might start setting better boundaries today using that decreasing time strategy we just looked at. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.